up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. So today we're going to cover my top 5 cards from Silver Tempest. These cards I think will have a huge impact on the metagame and will definitely shake some things up, and we'll see how it kind of goes. And I really do think all these 5 cards are going to be fantastic for this format. But yeah, here we are, Silver Tempest, brand new set. If you've seen the past 2 days, you've seen me open up a booster box. So we spent 2 days opening that. Today we're going to go over my top 5 cards. Tomorrow we're going to open an Elite Trainer box. And then on Friday, we're actually going to go over some lists that you can start playing on PTCGO when this set goes live. So that's going to be very exciting. We've had a lot of results from Japan, so that certainly does help out. But if you don't know, Silver Tempest has 246 cards. That is a lot. It's a lot of cards. It's a lot of cards to look into, including 195 in its main set, 21 secret rares, and 30 trainer gallery cards. This is one less card than Lost Origins. The sets just keep getting bigger and bigger is what it seems like. They just are huge now. Can you imagine trying to collect 246 cards? I'm sorry, collectors. The set is primarily comprised of cards from September's Incandescent Arcana and October's Paradigm Trigger. It also includes cards that were cut from Lost Origins set of September because their set needed to fit those other cards in. Not all new cards from these two sets are in, and around 30 cards have been cut. So we didn't get every card for Lost Origins, so they fit them in here. And then 30 cards have been cut that did not fit in the set. But what's interesting, this set features 3 cards from the future, Gym Trainer. It's in this set as regular cards, full art, and rainbow art. The regular print was released as a promo in Taiwan and Hong Kong in August 2021, but hasn't made its way to Japan just yet. The full art and rainbow rare versions haven't released anywhere except in America, except in the English list, which means this is the first time we are seeing them. Japan will probably get them in the V-Star universe this December, which is this card right here. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. We have not seen. I don't know if this is the first time ever. Probably not the first time ever. But yeah, it's the first time we've seen for Gym Trainer is in the English set. So here is one of the ones that get released. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But like I said, today we're going over top 5. Looks like Silver Tempest hits stores November 11th. So get ready. Get ready to start, collect the Silver Tempest. But we're going to go over my top 5 cards. We're going to definitely scroll and just find them and talk about the cards. And I think this order is correct in my head. I think the big thing is a lot of people will have these cards in their top 5 or top 10, whatever. But the order, I think, is going to be a little bit different than what most people will have. So we keep scrolling, and we're going to keep scrolling. What we're going to see first is actually 4 Seal Stone in number 5. So number 5 spot, we're going to have the Forest Seal Stone. It's a Pokemon tool. You attach a Pokemon tool to one of your opponent's Pokemon, not one of your opponents. Attached to one of your Pokemon doesn't have a tool card attached. The Pokemon V this card is attached to can use this V-Star power. And the ability for this card is Star Alchemy. During your turn, you search your deck for any one card and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. You can't use more than one V-Star power in a game. You can play as many cards, item cards as you like during your turn, like always. But why is this card in number 5 spot, right? Why is it so good? Well, first off, it gives decks, Pokemon V decks that don't have V-Star abilities now have the ability to use V-Stars. The big one, of course, everybody's going to talk about is Mew VMAX. So now with 4 Seal Stone, you can attach this tool card to a Genesect, and at any time you can use this ability. You can just go, okay, I'm going to use Star Alchemy, search my deck for any card, and put it to my hand. Now, this is great at Mew because let's say your opponent puts down Path to the Peak, right? And you need to draw out of the Path to the Peak. Well, you can Forest Seal Stone, use the ability because this is the ability of this card. So remember, the Pokemon these cards attached to can use this V-Star power of this card. And while it's Path to the Peak says your Pokemons have no abilities, right? Or whatever it says. And the difference is, this is not a Pokemon, this is an item card. So you can use this under Path to Peak, which is great in you because you can bump the stadium and then blah, 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 right? You can bump the stadium, find a Lost Remover, whatever you want to find, right? So that's pretty cool. But also, if you don't need to find those, like, let's say, early game, and actually I did this weekend when I was testing the deck out, is you can attach Forest Stone to a Pokemon, use it to find a VIP pass, go crazy, start your turn. So that's pretty cool too. I think this card's great. Not only is it a Mew, I've seen people play it in Eternatus, because Eternatus doesn't have any V-Star abilities either. I guess some people are playing Samurott, so you could maybe use Samurott, blah, blah, blah. But you could use Forest Hillstone in Eternatus as well too, and help set up and find more consistency. This card is definitely going to be like a 2-of in most decks that don't have V-Star abilities, and I think this is a fantastic card. It just makes Mew even more consistent. It brings life to other decks that don't have V-Star abilities. Like I said, Eternatus, and probably more as well, that I just don't know off the top of my head. Obviously, cards like Arceus and Palkia will not use this card, but I think just what this brings to the table is fantastic, and that's why it's in my number 5 spot. So, in the number 4, we're going to scroll up a little bit. We're going to find a really cool card that I like a lot. It's already the card I think about playing a lot, and that is Regidrago V-Star. So first off, Regidrago, it has no weakness, no resistance because it's Dragon type. 280 HP, which is the normal V-Star, like HP of 280 is like pretty consistent, right? But what we care about is Dragon Dream. Choose the attack from a Dragon-type Pokemon in your disc pile and use it as this attack. So definitely this is reminiscent of Mewtwo Mew GX. Before that, maybe like some kind of form of Mew. I think we haven't had an ability attack like this outside of a Mew or Mew, right? A Mewtwo or Mew, right? We haven't seen something like this. So it's cool that another Pokemon has this kind of attack. It doesn't need Grass, Fire. There's different ways to play this. I know some people play it with Gardenia, so you can attach Grass energies to Regidrago, blah, blah, blah. Some people are playing with Arceus, which I think that's probably the better play, is to use Arceus and just power up your Regidragos and go from there. But yeah, that's it. You don't really care about the V-Star power that much. Once your turn, you may discard 7 cards from the top of your deck, then choose 2 cards from discard, reveal them, put in your hand. That's great and all, right? You could discard your, 7 cards in your deck and maybe discard Pokemon, but it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, right? I mean, you get 2 cards, whatever, who cares? But I think, using Arceus or using something else is probably the better V-Star. And heck, even in, let's say you don't let's say you're playing this version, right, the Regidrago V-Star, and you could put the tool card we talked about in this list because this ability is not that good, right? But what's cool about this is there's so many different types of Dragon Pokemon you can copy, right? Just off the top of my head, you're talking about Giratina, right? 280, which is pretty neat. And you choose the attack, right? And you use it as attack. So you can use the attack, which is great. You do have to do the effects of the attack. You can use Duraludon, which is good. You got Goodra. Those are the big 3 that people think about when they first come up. But other ones are going to be cards like Flygon and cards like Garchomp, and even the new Dragonite that came in the set. We can look at Dragonite just real quick, just because people probably don't know about the card, just in case you don't. Dragonite right here has 180. It needs 4 energies, but it doesn't matter because you're using Regidrago's attack, and you can search for 3 basic energy cards and attach to Pokemon you like. You can use cards like Rayquaza V-Star. There's a bunch of different Dragon Pokemon that you can use with Regidrago V-Star, and I think just the freedom of copying any attack is really good. And it's not an ability either, it's an attack, so that's great. I do like this card a lot. You can also you can copy Shred from Giratina as well too, and that way you can beat Miltank decks. And there's a bunch of different things you can do with the Regidrago. The deck's really good. I think it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's probably one of my most decks I'm looking at right now to build for the upcoming format, but it is in number 4 spot just because it is not super consistent. And it hasn't done that amazing in Japan. But I think we can figure out a way to make it work and all that kind of good stuff. I guess also the third retreat kind of does. It's kind of high. But anyways, Regidrago's V-Star, it's a number 4 spot. If you don't know, here's Regidrago V. Discard 3 cards, top your deck, attach all energies, discarded. Dragon Laser 130, does 30 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. We don't care about that, but there it is. It does have 220 HP, which is great. That's great to have. 210's always been the magic number. 220 is even better. So yeah. Regidrago V-Star, number 4. Number 4 spot, Regidrago V-Star. Alright, so let's go to number 3. Now, I think this is going to surprise a lot of people that this is number 3 spot. The card is good. Don't get me wrong. Card is really, really good. But I don't think the card by itself is, super busted, deserves number 1 spot. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case, and I'm forewarning you. Yeah, hopefully I'm going the right way. I feel like I'm not going the right way at all. Oh my goodness, am I going the wrong way? I definitely think I'm going the wrong way. Yeah, let's go down. Alrighty, come on now. Alright, so we're okay. Alright. We're back to where we were. Sorry, I went the wrong way. Apologize. But in number 3, we're actually gonna go Lugia V-Star. And I know Lugia V-Star, everybody's talking about it's the best deck. Don't get me wrong, I think Lugia V-Star is a really good deck. I think it probably is one of the best decks. Don't get me wrong, I think it's really good. But remember, this is about cards, not decks. Lugia V-Star is very, very good. It's 280 HP. Once again, the normal V-Star, 280, whatever, just consistent, 280. Storm Dive does 220. You may discard the stadium in play. Sure, you can discard a stadium, which is kind of interesting because you can, like, I've seen people put, like, Sinnoh in their list to, like, counter Lugia, but, like, it doesn't really matter because it, like, needs 4 colors for Lugia anyways, and Lugia can discard Sinnoh. Anyways. But yeah, you can discard a stadium, 220. But what makes this card good is a Simply Star, right? Because if you show me Lugia V-Star and all it did was 220, you're like, I don't care about the card. That's terrible, right? 220 for 400 degrees, that's terrible. I don't care. Everybody says, that's terrible, right? What's really good is the ability of Simple Star, right? It's a V-Star power. You may use this during your turn. You choose up to 2 colors Pokemon from your discard pile, except for Pokemon with the rule box, and put them on your bench. Pokemon V, GX, etc. have rule boxes. You can't use more than 1 V-Star power in a game. So obviously this is one. We don't use Forest Seal Stone, right? But the big thing about Lugia is you want to get 2 college Pokemon out. And I think this is what makes the deck really good. And it makes Lugia, number 3 because of that ability. You could maybe put it down further on the list, because the only thing we really care about Lugia is the ability, right? Without the ability, there's nothing with Lugia, right? But that ability bringing 2 Pokemon out is so strong because of the Pokemon you're going to bring out super strong. We'll go over that here in a second. Now, the big thing to know about Lugia is it is weak to Lightning, which is the same weakness that Palkia had. So we might be in a situation where, Lightning could get better, but the problem is Lugia has access to Dunsparce. Dunsparce says, Pokemon that are colors do not have any weakness, right? That's kind of upsetting. It's kind of upsetting, right? Because you can't just play like a Lightning deck and beat Lugia because it doesn't work. You're not gonna beat Lugia because you're not gonna have a weakness, right? Because they have Dunsparce. So that's kind of unfortunate, right? So I think that's another thing that's good for Lugia, right? We're talking about Lugia in general, is it kind of has no weakness because of Dunsparce, right? But the big thing here we care about is a Symbol Star. Symbol Star is where the card is golden, right? The cool thing about Lugia too is it doesn't have to be active. It can just be on your bench and you use the ability. And you'll see that will have decks that, maybe you never even tackle Lugia. You just use other Pokemon instead. So the reason why Lugia is so star is just because of the ability. It's simply because of the ability, right? Lugia V, 220, just classic 220. Discard a card from hand if you draw 3, arrow, 130. Discard it. I guess it is kind of consistent, like some built-in consistency because you can discard and draw 3. But the reason why Lugia deck is so strong is because we went the wrong way again. And where is it at? Is this guy right here, Mr. Archeops. Mr. Archeops evolves from Archon, which then Archon evolves from Unidentified Fossil. So technically, it's a stage 2 Pokemon, but since you can use Lugia's V-Star ability, right? You're using Lugia's V-Star ability, you're going to get 2 of these Archeops out. And you have no idea what I'm talking about. I don't know where you've been. But Archeops has the ability Primal Turbo. Once during the turn, you may switch for 2 special energy cards and attach them to one of your Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. And of course, if you get 2 Archeops out, that means you can get 4 special energies coming on the field. And that's insane. That means you can get 4 of any special energies, and you can attach it to one of your Pokemon, right? It doesn't have to be colors, which is fantastic. And this is why the Lugia deck is so strong. Not Lugia in itself. Like I said, Lugia is good, right? It does 220, but then you can put like powerful energy on it, right? You do additional 20 damage. Like let's say you put 4 powerful energy on it, you're doing an additional 80 damage just for 300. It's pretty good. You can use new V-Guard energy, which takes 30 less damage from V Pokemon's attacks, right? There's a lot of different things that you can do with this Archeops. And once again, the deck is so strong because of Archeops, not because of Lugia. Lugia is good because it gets Archeops out, but the reason why it's super broken is because of this thing. This thing is what's going to cause problems for a lot of people. We'll see on Friday what combos you can pull off with Archeops. Like I said, you can attack with Lugia, but a lot of decks are not, they're not 100% attack with Lugia because they have other friends that they attack with. So that's pretty interesting. So Archeops is a number 2, and it's only a number 2 spot because the only way you can realistically get it out right now is with Lugia or Omastar V, and Omastar V is not that good. That's why Omastar V didn't even make the cut. Can we show Omastar V real quick? You know what? Of course I can. It's nowhere near the top 5, but I'll at least show you what Omastar V does if you're confused what I'm talking about. It is another way that you can get the Archeops out. But like I said, Archeops is definitely number 2 spot, but it's because of its ability is so strong. But outside of that, if you don't play Omastar Lugia, there's no way you're getting out. But Omastar V has the attack Ancient Guidance. Search it for 2 cards that evolve from items cards with fossil in their name. It put them in your bench to shuffle your decks. So that means you get Omastar for Archon, but then you have to evolve those Archon into Archeops. The only thing you get to do with Lugia is put those Archeops in your discard pile and you can get them out. Also, it has what 10 your opponent can't attack. The defending evolution can't attack. Right? Whatever. Who cares about that, right? It's not that good, but it's another way to get out the Archeops or Archons to get an Archeops. So there we go. Number 2 is an Archeops. It's Archeops. But number 1, I think it's gonna be not that surprising, but we haven't talked about it. Do you know what it is? I'll keep scrolling and let's see. Can you guess what the number 1 spot is? We talked about Lugia, talked about Archeops, and let's see, where is it at? It's right here. This card right here, Serena. Serena is my number 1 spot. It's number 1. So you have a choose one effect, right? You can either discard up to 3 cards from your hand. You must discard at least 1, then draw till you have 5 cards in your hand. This doesn't seem like a lot, right? You discard up to 3, draw till you have 5, whatever. Doesn't seem that good, right? Also, you can switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon V with their active Pokemon. So it's like a boss order, but only a Pokemon V. And you might be thinking, okay, Josh, why? Okay, you said both these effects are okay. But the thing about it is they're on 1 card. These 2 effects are on 1 card, which makes it really strong. Just think about the draw supporters we have right now in the standard format. We have, Sycamore, discard your hand, draw 7. Cool. We have Marnie, which could put your hand in the bottom deck and draw 5. This card gets you up to 5. Cool. We have Chorus Experiment. Look at top 5. Take 3, put 2 in the Lost Zone. You're going to put stuff in the Lost Zone, unfortunately. Melanie, Touch of Water, draw 3, right? These are all the main supporter cards that we see. Maybe Judge, right? Shuffle, draw 4. And that's it. Like, realistically, we don't have that many good draw support cards. But what Serena does is there's a couple things. First of all, you can put cards in your discard pile, which is great. You can put cards, like for Lugia, you can put the Archeops in there. For the PTCGO, you can put the Dragons in there. Let's talk about Mew. Let's take Mew, for example. Your hand's clunked up. There's a, it's like turn 4 or 5. You got some VIP pass in your hand. You can't use them whenever. You don't have the Ultra Balls. Well, Serena can just discard all those cards you don't need anymore. And then you draw up, you have 5 cards in your hand. Even if you draw, you have 5. Like, let's say, you discard 3, you go down to exactly 5, right? Well, then you can draw 1 because of Genesect, right? Draw, you have 6 cards in your hand. So I think that's really good. Also, there's probably a ton of times where you've had a boss order, and you're like, okay, if this boss order was a draw card, because it's early in the game, it can be super helpful. And I think that's where Serena will come in. You're like, all right, man, I wish it's a boss order. It's like, oh my goodness, I wish it's a boss order. Like, blah, blah, right. You want to discard cards and draw, you have 5, right? All right, you want to place draw cards. You don't need to wish this boss order. That's what Serena does. Serena's like, okay, well, I'm a draw supporter now. Let's go. You only draw DF5, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you compare it to like what Marnie research, we that discard all cards. At least this one you can like manipulate what cards you discard. You can discard to 1 to 3. You don't have to discard 3. You can discard 2. You can discard 1. You have to at least discard 1. You can drop to 5. That's pretty good. That's pretty good to compare to what we have right now. I'm just saying. And also you have this, you know, this, I'm going to switch when your opponent's Pokemon V with their active, which is pretty good. And the reason why this is really good is because, like, most times, that's what you're bossing up. You're bossing up anyway. You're bossing up a Pokemon on the bench, or a Pokemon V on the bench, and bring it to the X spot. That's what you're realistically bossing nowadays. If you think about it, like, how many times you're like, I'll bring up this non-V Pokemon and knock it out. Yeah, that doesn't really happen all too much. Now, it does happen. Don't get me wrong. I know it does happen. Whatever, guys. I know sometimes you do want to bring up some non-V Pokemon, but you can still play boss orders in your deck. Do you like this? Plus boss orders. But I think, you know, the options of discarded cards is where it becomes really strong. You have a lot of decks right now that, you know, they want to put Pokemon in the discard pile. They want to discard cards. So that's where Serena comes in. And then you can, you know, help get stuff out of your deck they don't know. Even Palkia could take advantage of this, right? It could, not very well, but it could take advantage of it. You know, discard your VIP pass if you're a 4 VIP Palkia deck, right? There's a lot of stuff that you can do with Serena, and I do like it a lot. That's why it's my #1 spot. I think the versatility of Serena is really, really strong. I think it's probably the most played card. Most played is... No, I think it's going to be the most played card because, like, even Lugia decks, you're playing 4 of these, right? 3 or 4 of these, right? Because you want to discard Archeops, right? And I think this guarantees it. Helps guarantee it. So that's why Serena is in my #1 spot. And also, we can look at the full arts, and we'll take a look at them real quick. We have full arts. Why not? Why not look at them? PTCGO V has 2 different artworks. Pretty cool. Lugia V has 2 different artworks, but not the V-Star. That's interesting. Here's full art Serena. Pretty cool. Is there Regieleki, a no V-Star, Mawile? Oh, there's a rainbow art Regidrago V-Star and a Lugia V-Star rainbow art. Oh, there's gold versions. Okay, there's a gold Lugia V-Star. And that looks about it. And there's a Silver Tempest Gallery. So, yeah, guys, there we go. Oh, see, you can play Rayquaza. You can play Rayquaza VMAX. You could play Duraludon. Look at Double Dragons. So yeah, guys, there we go. There's my top 5 list of Silver Tempest. Let me know what you think. Are there any cards that you think should be on the top 5? I think my top 5 is pretty good. I think it's pretty good. I think I've had justification of why each card is in each place. Serena is the most versatile card. Archeops is really busted when we play in some decks. Lugia is a good card, but only gets an Archeops, which is why Lugia is somewhat good at all. Regidrago is like very versatile. You can use different attacks. And then Force Seal is going to give new life to V decks and have a V-Star ability. It's going to be weird to see Mew decks start using V-Star counters. So yeah, guys, there we go. Let me know what you think. Hit that subscribe button. See you tomorrow. We'll open up a Silver Tempest League Trainer box. Alrighty, bye.